Hello. Welcome to Self-Love Sunday Chat. Let's give Facebook a moment to show this video and for everyone to find us. I'm so delighted to be back. We had to cancel our last week's Self-Love Sunday Chat because I had COVID and I'm still recovering, not fully there yet, and you can probably hear it in my voice. But I hope I'll be okay speaking for half an hour or so. Hopefully, hopefully we are live and you can see this video. Let me check on my phone. And if you are here, just say hi or, just give me thumbs up so that I know that this is all working. Oh, yeah, it should be. It should be okay. Yeah, perfect. So hello again. Hi, and please give StreamYard permission to use your name and profile picture because otherwise I can't see the names. So today we have a big topic of forgiveness, yes, and letting go. And I'm sure you've heard this advice from many people, yes, how important it is to let go of the past hurt, regrets, all the mistakes that might still, make you feel like shrinking inside. It quite often happens that we walk through life like with this backpack full of stones, and each of these stones is, some hurt that we experience from others, some unforgiven wrongs, some of our own mistakes, of things that we did wrong, decisions that we are not happy or proud about, all kind of regrets and unfulfilled dreams. Because life gives us plenty of opportunities, right, to collect stones, especially if we are into collecting, right? And this backpack can get heavier and heavier as years go by, and sometimes we need a lot of energy and creativity to distract ourselves from noticing it. So we try to not to see what we've been carrying on our shoulders, but there are also moments when we become painfully aware, right, of this burden that we've been carrying. Morning, Kay. Good to see you here. And we realize that it is, because it always is, draining our energy. It is stealing our peace of mind. It is stealing our joy of life, and very much it is undermining our self-confidence and our sense of empowerment, because it can really keep us feel small and worthless, and it can make us feel like victims. And feeling like a victim is just the opposite of feeling confident and standing in your own power. So sometimes it feels like, a constant struggle to stay upright, stay, straight in your power, despite all of this heaviness that is weighting you down all of the time. And as long as you hold on to all these difficult things from the past, all the things that you find difficult to forgive, the past can really hold you hostage. And it can do it in many ways. So the most obvious way is that you still carry the emotions. We can carry emotions for years, anger, rage, bitterness, resentment, very often guilt or shame, and they are eating us from the inside. And the second way it can hold you hostage is that all of these things that you didn't let go of, you still hold on to. They become like a filter, like a glasses through which you see your reality, through which you see the world around, other people, yourself quite often. So it has a huge impact on your present and on your future as well. Hi, Naila. Good to see you here. Uh, and then the last thing that I want to mention very briefly is that whenever you feel, whenever you allow yourself to stay feeling like a victim of something that happened in the past, you very unconsciously have this tendency to recreate the same negative scenarios over and over again. So, so this is one of the most detrimental consequences of not forgiving and not letting go. That as long as this stays in us, we kind of unconsciously create the same kind of situation and the same kind of hurt in our lives over and over again. So just let me know, give me like yes or no in the comments even, if you have things like this that you would really like to forgive or let go of, either forgive others or forgive yourself, but you kind of find it difficult. And maybe you've tried and it's not easy to do so, or maybe you don't even want to try. Yes, maybe you even far away from the intention to forgive. uh, yes, and I can see some yeses coming. So yes, I think like it's a very normal thing. We all have things like this, and that's why this is so important to talk about it. Morning, somebody. Unfortunately, I can see your name. Okay, so the antidote to all this is forgiveness. And I don't even like the word forgiveness very much, because it creates this distance between you or the other person, or this kind of not being equal in this relationship, yes, or even between you and a past version of yourself. Bert Hellinger, who is the father of family constellation approach or therapy, um, says that if you can really understand, then there is no need to forgive. And I think this is a much easier and better way of looking at of how we can make peace with whatever happened in the past. Hi, Hansa. Great to see you. Yes, especially if someone completely cuts you out of their life for organization through no fault of mine. Yes, yeah. And we will come back to this, that like forgiveness is always your choice, no matter what like the other person did or is still doing. So, what does it mean for you to forgive? If you were like to express it in like a very simple sentence, just a word or two, what does it mean for you to forgive? And if you could let us know in the comments, I'm really curious to see how you understand forgiveness, um, because we have plenty of myths around forgiveness that sometimes can keep us really stuck. So first of all, I want to say like a few words about what is not forgiveness, because as I said, this can stop us from taking this road to freedom. Uh, so forgiveness is not is never about saying that what happened was okay. Sometimes we hold on to something because we believe that if we let it go, it's kind of like saying, okay, so it was okay. Or it's like saying it didn't matter that much. It wasn't that important. Now, and then we hold on to this hurt just to prove to ourselves or to prove to others that it did matter, that it impacted on us deeply. And somehow, we have this loyalty towards the pain, either our own pain that somebody inflicted on us or the pain that we inflicted on others. But either way, out of the loyalty to this pain, we kind of decide to hold on to it. But forgiveness does not mean that what happened was not important, that and that what happened was okay. We can still admit the truth. We can still hold to the truth and forgive. And forgiveness is not also about not holding somebody accountable. We can hold others accountable, we can hold ourselves accountable, and still forgive. There is a beautiful movie, a hard one to watch, but it's really a very beautiful movie, which is called Ataniora. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right. Ataniora, the Fast Runner, and it's a movie about Inuit people. And there is this main character, like a group of characters, really, who creates such a like crazy amount of suffering in one of Inuit's villages. And there is like, secret plotting and betrayal and lies and killing and rape even. So a lot of bad stuff happens, and this movie ends like with a gathering with like all the villagers, and there is a beautiful speech by grandmother, and grandmother talks about all the pain that was created, and she talks about forgiveness, and they forgive them. They kind of set them free. They really practice forgiveness, but they have to leave the village. They are not allowed to stay. So these are two different things: keeping somebody accountable and like having the consequences to what happened. But forgiveness is a totally different thing. And of course, forgiving does not mean forgetting. Forgetting quite often is not possible, right? So we can still remember what happened, but still forgive. And what comes up here also for me quite often, and in the sessions when I work with clients, is this notion of punishment. So quite often we have this need for revenge. We have and we hold on to something as a way of punishment. Now, this can be conscious or this can be very unconscious, of course, yes. And this is kind of a magical thinking. So us holding on to the hurt, to the bitterness, to anger, to rage, does not do anything to the other person, to the person who hurt us. But it does do a lot to our own well-being, right? And with self-punishment, it's even more tricky. Quite often we do this very unconsciously, that we feel guilty about some choice or some decision, something that we did, and then we kind of inflict consequences, put consequences on ourselves as a kind of punishment. I've worked with many like women who used to punish themselves for example, leaving a relationship or making a certain decision around their children. And in a society, if you do something wrong, you go to court, you are sentenced to prison, for example. You're sentenced to prison for a certain number of years. Now, if you punish yourself, it's very vague. There is no limit to it. How much is enough? And sometimes we get stuck, for years in this self punishment that never ends. So this is just something to keep in mind whenever you think about forgiveness, whenever you think about something from the past that you want to let go of. Just explore the idea of punishment and the idea of taking revenge, and how this weaves into the picture of what you can and what you cannot do. So What forgiveness is. I forgive means I don't think of it anymore. Okay, yes, that's kind of sounds right if you are able to do that. Um, Forgiveness for me is all about not carrying the pain around what happened anymore. So it's about letting go of all the difficult emotions that I might have in myself because of what happened in the past. So it is about reclaiming your power, right? It is about refusing to be the victim. And maybe we weren't able to protect ourselves from the harm when something happened in the past, but we are well able to protect our hearts, to protect our light from being harmed over and over again, just as a result of us holding on to what happened. And it's also a big act of self love, right? uh, because forgiveness is this letting go of the hurt and of the negative or difficult emotions, no matter what the other person does. So it's not because the other person apologized. Quite often they don't. It's not because the other person understood or admitted how they hurt us. It's not because the other person changed, but just because we deserve the peace and we deserve the freedom. So this is a very beautiful way of showing love and respect and care for ourselves. And very much it is about changing the way we look at things that happened in the past. And this can be a big shift, and it can open the future for you, because like we cannot change the past obviously, but by changing the way we see it, changing the way we think about it, we can open so many good things in our present and in our future as well. So let me know how this resonates. Whether this is something that you would like to do to protect yourself from this hurt that might be still going on inside, although some things in the past are far, far, far behind you. Jan says a big act of self-love. Yes, it is. It is. Brilliant. I'm delighted that you like it, Jan. So, and at the same time, like forgiveness is very much a miracle and a mystery, right? And it's not something that it's very easy to do just by the power of our conscious decision. And it's more about having the intention. It's more about having the intention to forgive, the intention to let go, and then without any expectations and with a lot of trust, being patient. And nothing can be rushed here, of course, but your intention matters a lot. And of course, there are a few tools that you can use to help yourself to move forward. Uh, Brilliant. Yes, Hansa. And we'll get very practical in the moment. So just to mention one more thing, I want to tell you like about two things that have helped me enormously and that have helped plenty of my one-on-one clients to forgive more easily. But before I say that, just to mention that what sometimes keeps us stuck, what sometimes keeps us in this position that can't we seem to not be able to forgive, we seem like we don't even want to forgive something. It might be because the thing has deeper roots than we expect. So sometimes in our love relationships, yes, it's very difficult to forgive our partners or ex-partners for doing something, mainly because there is an earlier pain. there is an earlier wound behind it. So sometimes, just to give you an example, I worked with a client recently who had a really tough time forgiving her ex-partner for for how the relationship has broke up, but and it was really difficult for her even to go near the idea of forgiveness or understanding what happened. Uh, and when we looked deeper into what was happening, we found out that she was abandoned, or her mom was really abandoned by her dad when she was very little. And like this deep wound from her childhood was kind of hiding beneath what happened in a relationship. And for as long as she didn't look at this deep earlier wound, it was very difficult to do anything about the relationship and her ex-partner. So just being very aware that there might be earlier things hiding behind what happened, and hiding behind the things that you find really difficult to forgive. So in that case, the inner child work, yes, is the way to go. And we are going to have inner child retreat at the end of May. So just keep an eye here on Facebook and on your email, because I'll be sending the link to sign up quite soon, so that you won't miss that one. But for today, as I said, two things that are very, very helpful in bringing a bit more freedom into our present and into our future. So the first one is two concepts that I want to share with you, and they originally come from the Zen tradition, but they were used quite often by Michael Beckwith. He's the founder of Agape, the International Spiritual Center, and then they were made even more popular by Vision from the Mind Valley, the founder of Mind Valley, and but originally they come from Zen. So these two concepts are Kensho and Satori, and they show us how we grow and develop throughout our life. So these are the two ways in which we grow and learn in life. Satori is how we grow through insights, and Kensho is the moments when we grow through pain. So they both like come and go in our lives, yes, and help us grow as human beings. So Satori moments are all these moments, when you have a sudden realization. So you are on a retreat, you're reading a book, you're having a one-on-one session with a therapist, and then you have this aha moment, yes, this epiphany, this light bulb moment, and you kind of something inside shifts, and nothing, if this shift is deep enough, nothing ever is the same again, right? So I'm sure you have moments like this. So if you want to share with us in the comments some of your powerful Satori moments, that would be great. For me, I often talk about this moment with my teacher Rani, when I was on a breathing mat during my breath session, and she whispered into my ear, "You are the most important person in your life." And I was after years of therapy at that time, and plenty of self-development work, and I was looking still for this missing piece, and that was the missing piece for me. And these words changed like so many things in my life, and I wouldn't be here talking to you, I'm sure, if I didn't hear them. So that was a very powerful Satori moment for me. And sometimes they are big like this, sometimes they are smaller. But I'm sure you have plenty of examples when you realized something, and that helped you to become a different, a better person. So that's Satori moments. But there are also Kansha moments in our lives. And Kansha moments are very different. Kansha moments are when we grow through pain. So this is a very different kind of growth. Yes, this is more gradual. This is more slow. And sometimes we have no idea when we are in the middle of something that this is an opportunity to grow. So when your relationship like falls into pieces, yes, this is a kansha moment. This creates a lot of hurt, a lot of pain, and but at the same time, after a while, when you look at it, you can see how you grew from it. So maybe you understood what was your part in this relationship breaking up, and then you can change that and not bring it into your next relationships. Maybe you reconnected with your friends, maybe you reconnected with your family. You became wiser, you became more experienced. uh, that's how you grew from a very painful experience. But it might be a loss of a loved one, it might be your friend betraying you, it might be losing a lot of money or losing a job you love. All of these moments are opportunities to grow. But sometimes you can see it only when you look, back from a few years even perspective. So, my first marriage, which ended in a divorce, I was devastated at the time. It was one of the most painful experiences in my life, and it was really difficult. We were running a business, yes, together, and everybody knew. And it was my ex-husband like having a relationship with another girl, like which who worked together with us. So like, and everybody knew for months, and I was the last one to know, and the kids were still small, and like it was really a devastating experience. But when I look at it now, I know that I grew enormously through this pain. I grew in myself. I became so much more independent and confident, and plenty of good things happened as a result of that pain. So I want to show you just a little chart, what it looks like. And this is from Vision from Mind Valley. So with kansha moments, you can see here, when the line goes down, there is like this kind of a dip. So yeah, the quality of life, yes, goes really down at these moments. Yes, it's really painful, it's really difficult, but then you go up, and you go up to a higher level. You raise above the level from which you were before the difficult thing happened. And then also the Satori moments, which do not cause that kind of a dip, but also allow you to grow. So these two things happen in our life, like both these moments, and they help us growth. So why am I talking about all this? I'm talking about all this because I want to invite you to to look at all these things that happened and that you find difficult to forgive as opportunities to grow. It is really a very powerful practice to take a moment to do a bit of journaling, do a bit of drawing, whatever your preferred way of working is, and go back to these moments and ask yourself, what did I learn? How did I grow? I promise you, even the most painful moments, the most painful situations in your life, they carry a lot of opportunities to grow. And once you focus on this, you kind of change the way you perceive the whole situation. And this can be a beautiful, beautiful first step to forgiveness and to letting go. So let me know if that resonates, and let me know if this is something that you would like to try, just to stop, um, take a pause, and look at these painful moments from the past and see the opportunity to grow there. It can truly create a lot of freedom and easiness, and it can help you to let go of some of these stones that you've been carrying sometimes for a very, very long time. So that's one thing. And the other thing that I want to invite you to practice today and maybe for the next few days. And this is connected with our beliefs about what our true, deep human nature is. So I don't know what you believe it is. For me, I truly believe that deep inside, we are all good and loving and caring. That there's our most essential, our core nature is goodness, is love, is care, is kindness. And then on top of this, to a larger and smaller extent, all of us are unaware and unconscious. So all of us are lost in our stories that are not true, in our defenses, in the scars, in the wounds that we carry within us. We fall victim to our unconscious beliefs, yes, to our habits, to our automatic reactions. So all this comes on top of this beautiful and loving nature that is our essence. Uh, and I think it's easy to see when you look at yourself from the past. So I'm sure when you look at yourself from 5 years ago or 10 years ago, you can see how much you have grown, how much you have changed since then. And sometimes you can look at your past decisions and say, "Wow, why did I even do that?" And there can be like a lot of unnecessary guilt coming over here, but this is something which is like a process of our life. Yes, we grow and change and we become more aware and more conscious. And we might have made choices in the past that we are not proud of because we were not as aware in the past as we are today. So it's very, very important to look back at yourself with this curiosity and with the compassion instead of judgment. I always think, about my first child, my first son. When he was born, I was still like a very anxious and unsure. I was both anxious and unsure as a mom, but I was also very anxious and unsure as a person. And so anyway, I stopped breastfeeding him after 6 months because I had this very uncomfortable feeling in my body when I was feeding him. So when I started, when he was born, it was grand, it was beautiful. And then after around 6 months, I developed this huge painful discomfort in my whole body while breastfeeding him. So I just stopped. And he got the formula, and soon after he developed a very serious eczema and serious allergies. And the next few years were like a disaster with doctors and hospitals. And even now he is like 28 years old at the moment, and he can still have like a flare up from time to time. So I fought that everybody fought, and I fought myself. There was a lot of thinking that it was my fault because I stopped breastfeeding him, and I stopped breastfeeding him just because I felt uncomfortable. So I used to blame myself for years for doing so. And, you know, if I had the awareness of my body that I have now, if I were connected to my body the way I am connected to it now, if I had access, to my belly with all this intuition, this embodiment sense of what I need to do, then it would have been all different, right? So it's easy for me to look now and say like, well, why didn't I do something different then? But I didn't have it at the time. At the time, I was totally disconnected from my body. My body was kind of scary to me, to say the least. And so I did the best I could at the time. With all the knowledge, with all the skills, with all the resources I had at the time, I did the best I could. And this is what we all do all of the time. We all do the best we can with the knowledge, with the skills, with the awareness, with the resources that we have at any given moment. So that's the thing I would also like to invite you to do, to look at your past, to look at yourself from the past, and instead of judgment, find a bit of understanding and compassion, and see how you did the best you could at all these moments that you might be regretting. And this is a simple practice of just stopping for a moment and really going back in time and asking yourself, what did you feel like then at that time? What was it like for you? What were the feelings? What were the emotions? What did you know at the time? What support did you have in place at the time? And once you do a bit of exploration, I'm sure you will find out that you did the best you could. And once you're able to do this with yourself, it will be much easier for you to do it about other people, because other people still do the best they can at any given moment. And this best sometimes is very, very far from ideal, but it's still the best they could. And again, it's not about not keeping people accountable. It's not about not setting boundaries. It's not about not taking action. Yes. All this is a different story. But it's apart from all the things that need to be done. We don't need to add the extra layer of rage, anger, shame, guilt, resentment, bitterness. Yes, we don't need to add this extra layer on ourselves. That is totally optional. So I think we need to start with ourselves here. This is my experience after so many years of working with clients. This is very much my experience that we need to start with forgiving ourselves. Quite often, I meet clients who say like, "It's easy for me to forgive others. I just can't forgive myself." But I believe our forgiving hours is not full until we are able to forgive ourselves. And sometimes it's just our inability to face the difficult emotions that are there. So we forgive kind of intellectually, but we do not go into this full body, deep forgiveness until we are able to forgive ourselves. So just let me know how this resonates with you, how it is for you with forgiving yourself and with forgiving others, which one feels easier. And just to finish today, I want to invite you for a very short exercise that you can practice both with yourself or with others, to find forgiving or understanding, and letting go much more easier. So this is called like butterfly hugs practice. And those of you who worked with me, have been working with me for a while, know it probably. And for some of you, it might be totally new. So I would like you to choose something from the past, something that you find difficult to forgive. Maybe not choose the most difficult thing for a start. Let's start with something, in the middle of the scale, and it can be something that something that someone did to you, and you find it difficult to let go of, or something you did to somebody else, and just take a moment to choose a situation and just notice what it stirs up inside. So, what is the emotion that is coming up to the surface when you think about it? Or what is the physical sensation that you might be experiencing in your body when you focus on this situation or this event? So it might be anger that is coming up, it might be shame that is coming up, it might be pain in your heart, this heaviness in your chest, it might be knot in your stomach, it might be constriction in your throat. Just notice what is coming up as you allow yourself to focus on that thing. And once you have it, I would like you to repeat these few sentences after me, just to yourself quietly. So the first sentence is, even though I feel this anger, this heaviness in my chest, this knot in my stomach, this shame, this guilt, I love and accept myself just the way I am. Even though I feel this anger, this shame, this knot in my stomach, I love and accept myself just the way I am. And the next sentence, I forgive myself, I forgive him, I forgive her, I forgive them from the bottom of my heart, because I did the best I could with the resources I had. Or he did the best he could with the resources he had. Or they did the best they could with the resources they had. So I forgive myself from the bottom of my heart, because I did the best I could with the resources I had. Or I forgive them from the bottom of my heart, because they did the best they could with the resources they had. And the next sentence is, I no longer have to carry this anger, this shame, this knot in my stomach, this heaviness in my chest, nor do I have to suffer for it, get ill for it, or die for it for the rest of my life. I no longer have to carry this pain, this guilt, this anger, this knot in my stomach, nor do I have to suffer for it, get ill for it, die for it for the rest of my life. I choose to let it go so that I can live my life to the fullest. I choose to let it go so that I can live my life to the fullest. And let's go through this one more time. And you can even put your hands, around yourself. So one hand on your arm, the other hand on the side of your chest, so that you're giving yourself this little hug. And let's go through this again. And I'll go with I, and you can change, of course, the pronouns, the emotions, so that it suits whatever you're working with. So even though I feel this pain inside, I love and accept myself just the way I am. And I forgive myself from the bottom of my heart, because I did the best I could with the resources I had. I no longer have to carry this pain, nor do I need to have to suffer for it, or get ill for it, or die for it for the rest of my life. I now choose to let this go so that I can live my life to the fullest. And take a few breaths here. Notice how it feels. Sometimes you can catch a tiny relief as you're doing this exercise. Sometimes there's a huge relief. Sometimes it needs a few repetitions because before you can feel it. So this is, as always, a matter of practice and giving it a bit of time. And also very much starting with the easy things before you move on to the big stuff. So let me know how you like the exercise, whether it resonates, and what was the experience for you of repeating these sentences to yourself. And also, like, if you have any comments, if you have any questions, please be sure to put them into the comments. I always go through all the comments, whether you're watching this live or whether you're watching the replay. I always read all of them and do my best to respond. I feel the relief straight away. Thanks. Yes, brilliant. So you can still keep repeating because this each time you do it, you go deeper and deeper inside. Thank you. Yes. Yes. So thank you very much for being with me on this Sunday morning. I hope you'll have a beautiful rest of the day, and see you again next week. Thanks a million, and bye for now. Thank you. Thanks.